Hey garden friends, and welcome back to Happy Heart Gardens. It is a gorgeous day down here in South Alabama, so I thought it would be the perfect time to do a little tour of the garden here in middle end of May. We don't typically get like a huge spring type weather feeling, but we are getting it this year and I am here for it. Let me tell you what, the longer I can hold off on the heat, the happier I am. So just a quick little overview. If you are new here, my name is Rebecca, and like I said, this is Happy Heart Gardens. I primarily garden in South Alabama, and this is my South Alabama garden. So as you can see, it's mostly raised beds, along with some smart pots and containers. Let's see, I've had this garden for 9 years, just about, in this location. So things are really thriving right now. It's like a great time of year, like I said, before our heat comes in. So we sort of have summer for us is sort of a little bit of an off season, just as far as a lot of things don't like to fruit and flower above 90 degrees, which of course will consistently be in the 90s and the hundreds. So that's when you transition to just things like sweet potatoes and okra and black-eyed peas. But right now, everything is happy and pretty. So I'm going to just give you a quick little tour of what I got going on. So over here we have this first bed here is like a mix of strawberries and poppies and bunching onions that are flowering, along with some alpine strawberries and two blueberry bushes there in the back. And then we have my main blueberry bed. These are all dwarf bushes. And the blueberries are really starting to turn right now. I have different varieties, so I get berries at different times. If you're able to have multiple bushes, I recommend that just because it extends your growing season. Here we have leeks, something I'm trying for the first time. Not sure how it's going to do in my climate. I've harvested a few small ones just to enjoy them, but they seem to be doing okay, so that's good. We'll take it. Let's see, how is everything else looking? Again, more grow bags with chives, poppies. Here, I'm just really loving this bed. I sprinkled this morning, so everything's a little bit wet, but we have nasturtiums, which won't last too much longer. They're one of those things that won't take my intense summer heat. So enjoying them as long as I can. I have some bush beans planted there in the back. And then this is an apple gourd growing on the trellis. I have two apple gourd plants. This is a new to me plant, so we'll see how that does. I've tucked a couple more bush beans in here, along with some parsley and again nasturtium. So I'm really into companion planting, as you can see, just tucking in flowers and herbs and bush beans. Oh, there's a couple carrots on the edge of this bed still too. Just really packing stuff in. That's how I like to garden. Another grow bag with a couple leeks, some more, oh my goodness, poppies and sage. And then here we have our zucchini. We have been harvesting off of this for a few weeks now, and it's been doing really great. I struggle with zucchini because of pests, but it looks like we have some more coming, so that's always fun. And the peanuts have just volunteered themselves back in this bed, along with some little baby corn I had growing. Not sure if we're going to get much. There's a little bit here. We also had some squirrel or bunny damage. And then here we have potatoes. They're coming close to an end. Also had a lot of armyworm damage on these guys, but that's okay. Like I said, they're getting close to being done, so I'm not stressed about it. This time of year, like I said, I really quickly get in things like my zucchini and all that kind of stuff, and potatoes, and then it'll be too hot, so then that'll go out and it'll just be flowers and peanuts and cowpeas, that type of thing. More potatoes in grow bags. And then this is the bed where I had my onions. I also have a really bad torpedo grass invasion that I'm going to have to deal with at some point. Stay tuned for that. Some volunteer Tulsi. Tulsi volunteers just wild in my garden. So this is Tulsi basil, also known as holy basil. And it actually almost becomes, I don't want to say invasive because it is just a beautiful plant, but there's just so much of it that I have to cut it back, take some out, because it would literally just take over all the beds. But it's okay. I leave some because I like it. And I also planted sun hemp in here, so we're going to try that for a summer cover crop, see how that does, my first time growing. This poor zinnia, I just planted him last night and was very dry, so he might be dead, but you know what? These things happen. Let's see. Peppers, bell peppers here. Again, in a smart pot. I'm a huge fan of smart pots. And then at the end of this bed, we have a little parsley and the tomatillos that are just going absolute bonkers on the trellis. And I had saved these metal pieces here are from the frost cloth and insect netting. I left them up, which is good because the tomatillo is using them. I should maybe move this guy down to help. I will do that too. And then the eucalyptus. How can we not talk about this guy? I have had this for years. It's officially taller than me now. And it is just thriving in this pot. I do nothing with it. I bought it as a plant and that's it. Oh, there's a random dog. Okay. Alrighty then. So yeah, eucalyptus and blackberry, but we'll talk more about them when I get over there. And then just moving around, we have the sungolds. I'm already fighting tomato disease. I have everybody trimmed up. I just did that last night just because it's getting bad. So hopefully I'm staying ahead of it. It's tough in my climate. Again, I'm on the Gulf Coast, so we just get a lot of fungal issues with humidity and all that kind of stuff. I have a lot of rain, which isn't always great with fungal issues, but the sungolds are hanging on. Have a lot of fruit. We've already been harvesting some of these guys, so that's fun. And there's a couple more down there I think I need to harvest. And then in this bed, again, well, hold on, here's another quick pepper in a smart pot. And then again, flowers, calendula, parsley. I have some carrots that aren't quite ready yet. And then here's a bunch more peppers. I have serrano peppers. They're coming along. Actually, probably need to pick them. And some bell peppers, and then some Jimmy Nardellos. Can you see the Jimmy Nardellos there? One of my favorites to grow. Just have a great flavor. They're an Italian frying pepper, but I just use them like a regular bell pepper. I also have a couple leeks I stuck over there because I didn't have enough space. This is my overgrown oregano that I'm going to deal with this fall. Some more flowers, and of course Tulsi basil everywhere. Another potato in the grow bag, another volunteer Tulsi basil, and then we make our way to the main tomato bed. I've had really beautiful calendula, but you can see the heat's already getting to be too much for these guys. So they probably won't make it too much longer either, but the tomatoes. So I'm growing 3 different kinds in this bed, all dwarf determinants or, yeah, all dwarf and determinant in this bed. So I have the 3 kinds, Maverick, Stew Pice, and Super Bush. So Stew Pice is kind of putting off these clusters of like smaller, larger than cherry tomatoes, but not like regular large slicer tomatoes. And you can see there's still just disease on these plants. These guys seem to have more disease, so I'm not sure that I'm going to grow them again. The Maverick has done really well, a little bit better with disease, and he has larger fruit. So I don't know if you can see all the big fruit that he's putting off. Yeah, so really happy with him. But the standout by far, this is another Maverick here with some really nice fruit. The favorite are these super bushes. So here's a super bush, and here's a super bush. And they have really nice fruit. Look at these guys. And you can see the plants look really nice. I don't want to jinx myself, but really happy with how they are looking and just full of fruit. Can you see this over here? I had to stake him up last night. Yeah. So definitely we'll be growing these again. I haven't tasted them yet, so hopefully they taste good because they are really just seem to be hardy and can handle my weather conditions. So I probably need to give tomatoes a break for a year just to see if that'll cut down on some of the disease because I'm sure it's in the soil along with coming in on the rain and all that. But it's hard to like not grow tomatoes. But I'm hoping I can just get the ones that I have already on here to maturity, and then we can just take these guys right out and plant something else in here. So yes, just gonna get these guys to maturity, and then like I said, I will take these out, the tomato plants, and probably put in some beans, and then of course all the just like volunteer herbs and flowers will just kind of take over too for summertime, which is fine. And then here we have some cucumbers on the trellis. Already been harvesting a couple of these. These are Dar variety. It's one that I've saved and it has done really great again for me in my climate. It's a smaller cucumber, which I like. You can use it to make pickles. And you can also just use it to eat fresh. It has great flavor, like actually tastes like a cucumber. So highly recommend that if you've never tried them before. We got some more little babies coming. So that's always fun. Once they start, they really get kind of prolific. And let's see, moving on. Another super bush plant here. This one I have, I think, in a 7 or 10 gallon grow bag. This might be a 10 gallon. And you can see just really nice plants. We do have some flea beetle damage, but I have terrible flea beetles, so. And it also is putting out some nice fruit. I had kale and mustard in here. These guys have all flowered. I went ahead and planted some beans last night, along with some different flowers. This bed here, I was going to put sweet potatoes, and then I discovered root knot nematodes on my beets. Lots of times the root nematodes can be plant family specific, so I would probably be okay putting the sweet potatoes back in, but I was nervous. I have planted mustard for a cover crop because that can help with them. Not sure that it's going to grow again in my summer heat. Might have to wait and do that in the fall. But we'll see. These other things, this basil, this nasturtium, excuse me, this little bush baby, they're growing, but nobody's really thriving. So I don't know, we'll see. And I do have a volunteer sweet potato from last year. But what I did was I went ahead and got another Smart Pot. This is their 24-inch raised bed. And I put it here, so I'm going to do the sweet potatoes in that along with a grow bag next to it. So hopefully I get some nice sweet potatoes. I don't know, total experiment. We're going to see what happens. Some more Smart Pots. These had potatoes and a huge calendula in them. Of course, they're now done. Again, planted beans last night. This dill is going to flower and seed. So we'll get a lot of nice seed from this guy. That's fun. And then I'll probably just poke beans in there. So for me in the summer, like I mentioned, when something comes out, I just poke beans and flowers in usually because not much else can handle the heat. Okra can, but we're not huge okra eaters, so I don't plant that. And the flower bed. Look at this. This was the main flower bed. I love having this huge bed for pollinators. It just brings them to all of the vegetables. But then, of course, it's just volunteered and is slowly taking over this bed as well. And the pathway, which is fine. I'm just letting it do its thing. We had garlic. I had garlic here in this section. I've since harvested that and planted again in some beans a few days ago. They're already starting to come up. I have another cucumber in there, and this is our 1,000-headed perennial kale. Look at him. He's giant. He's got to be close to like 7 feet now. My husband came out and we put a T-post in because these little supports just weren't strong enough to hold it up anymore. It's got some cabbage moth damage, but it's okay. It's gone through that before. This is, I believe, season 3, and it seems to just handle it. So I just let this thing do its thing. This is also part of it down in here as well too. Again, more beans. I just poke beans in everywhere. I have 1 celery left. Not sure how long that's going to take the heat, but we're doing an experiment. Another little cucumbers tucked in with all the beans. Some more carrots. I'm leaving them in for just a smidge longer. Not sure why. I guess just because we had so many carrots from the other carrots. So I didn't want to freeze. Like I have so much in the freezer from the epic carrots that I just didn't want to completely fill my freezer. I want to have some fresh. So I'm leaving these to eat fresh over the next few weeks because I'll have to get these out by mid-June, I would say for sure. The bay leaf, I thought he had died this winter, but I trimmed it up and we have a lot of fresh new growth. So very excited for that. Of course, this is where our epic carrots were. If you missed that whole saga, We tried growing a 5-foot carrot. I have a bunch of videos on it. Let me know. I can send them to you if you haven't seen it. And we'll just circle around here to the other side of the tomatillo. You can see it's just getting wild. And the blackberry, and this massive blackberry is growing in a milk crate in a smart pot. This is, I think, year 2 for this guy as well, and just putting off so much fruit. I've harvested so much already, and they are giant. This is I believe, a sweet cakes from Salty Acres. If you've never checked them out, they do all kinds of different fruit plants sent right to you. So I've been happy with that. That parsley, more parsley on this side, my ginger. You can see the nasturtium already didn't take the heat. More volunteer sweet potatoes. I swear you grow sweet potatoes once and you'll have them forever because it seems like you always miss one. And then here is a vining rose. So I'm new to roses. He's very tall, but no flowers. So not sure what's going on with him, but he looks healthy. And then we're back to the flowers. Oh, and then just wanted to give a real quick tip on the tomatillos. If you are new to growing them, this is what they look like. They put out these really pretty yellow flowers that bees go crazy for, and then they'll form the little tiny tomatillo, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it fills out that skin. Now you do need to, in order to get germination, I tried growing just one because they're so prolific and you won't get any fruit. So you got to have at least 2. This is 4 plants, probably too much. In hindsight, 2 would have been plenty, maybe 3, just because they go wild. They vine. They need like a big support. So just keep that in mind if you do want to grow them. But yeah, that is the garden right now. Everything is really looking lush. Already setting seed. I've already saved so many seeds. Cosmos, cilantro, dill, of course, I'm going to save. What else? Kale, all kinds of things. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this quick little tour. Thanks so much for coming along with me on this little tour of my garden down here in South Alabama. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. And I look forward to seeing what this all looks like in another month. We'll come back and do another one of these tours. So happy growing, friends, and have a great day.